Hello and welcome to Alsace, the host of the second round of the FVR GT Championship for Season 5. My name is Nathan, your commentator for this race, to bring you the action from this 5.4 kilometre circuit around the village of Alsace, of course, in the French regions. 13 drivers will have to tackle this 17-turn track. A really tricky and unique circuit, one of the more technical circuits that we will be venturing to across the season. But it is time to find out how they fared in qualifying. So, of course, as usual, we have the 10 minutes qualifying to determine how the drivers line up in the race. And this is how they start. From the back of the pack in 13th place, appearing on the right hand side any minute now, is Cameron Hill. He starts 13th, 2.5 seconds off pole position, maybe had a slight mistake, as did Kian, who was also a little bit off the pace before. We got Tim in 11th place, just missing out on the top 10, but into the top 10 it is James Kidwell in 10th and Adam Hans in the Jaguar alongside him in 9th place. Last week's pole sitter starts in 8th, myself just 8 tenths off pole position behind Shay Easton in 7th place. It's 1st, 2nd and 3rd from Blue Moon, starting 6th, 7th and 8th, as Maurizio Veldhuis starts in 6th place behind Piero in 5th. The second row of the grid is our last season's world champion. The season before that, season 2 world champion Ate Timgren starts 4th behind Adib Khan in 3rd. Ruben on the front row of the grid in the Citroen. He'll be leading down towards turn 1. And it's Matty who starts from pole position on his FVR GT debut in the Lamborghini Huracan. Time has flown so fast that I wrongly accused Ate Timgren of winning last season's championship. He did not win last season's championship. He won 2 seasons ago in season 2. Even now I'm doubting myself. That is correct, which it is. But hello and welcome to everyone who is tuning into the stream for the second round of the FVR GT Championship of Season 5. We have got a pretty good race on our hands if last race was anything to go by. The new tyre strategies really throwing a spanner in the works. For those of you who are new or don't know the changes that have been made from Season 4, the drivers now have to use 3 different tyre compounds throughout the course of the race. And that includes the softs, the mediums and the hards. They can use them as many times as they like, whenever they like, for as long as they like. As long as all 3 are used. If not, they will result in a 1-minute penalty for each compound not used. But that all explained nice and clearly, I think we are ready to get this race underway. And so we have 26 laps ahead of us of the 5.4 kilometre circuit around the village of Alsace. 5 red lights and we go racing here in Alsace. Finish for the first time in FVR. It's a great start from Ruben. As per usual, off the line, the Citroen leads down towards the first corner, but behind them, they're 3-4 wide at the apex of turn 1. Myself on the inside of Maurizio Veldhuis, Piero trying to hang it round the outside in 8th place. They're going to run side by side. The 2 drivers on the front row of the grid in Blue Moon, now in 6th and 7th at the start of this race here in Alsace, but it's the Citroen that leads into turn 3. A good start from Easton actually up into 4th place. Timgren looking to try and go round the outside and towards turn 4. The Finn now has the inside for turn 5. Driver currently running in 5th place under pressure from Maurizio Veldhuis, who's looking to go round the outside of the Finnish driver down towards turn 6, and he gets the move. No, Timgren holds on to the position, as Veldhuis has to sit in behind and bide his time, but up in front, Matty has taken the lead in the race once again down towards this downhill, swooping left-hander. The Spaniard of Ruben's going to try and hold it around the outside, and as we approach the big banked corner, Matty will lead the field away. Khan's got a good run round the outside, but with the inside line, I'd think that Ruben could hold it. Khan, though, beautifully holds it round the outside and up into 2nd place. Behind them, a couple of drivers changing positions. The Audi and the Supra side by side in towards this awkward hairpin. Easton on the inside of Veldhuis behind them. Everyone getting into line. Piero having a snap on the exit of the hairpin. And in front of him, This battle rages on down the hill for the first time in towards the penultimate and final corner, turn 16 into the left-hander of 17. And it's Matty that leads the opening lap of this race. Adib Khan has a good start on those medium tyres as well. There's a fluorescent BMW looking to go down the inside of Tim Green in towards turn 1. The Brit and the Finn still run side by side. There's a Jag that gets a tank slapper on the exit of the first corner. But it's a long run down in towards the braking zone at turn 3, and that could allow Piero in the Porsche to have a look round the outside in front of him. Easton's looking for a move on Veldhuis. Piero runs a little bit wide. That could open the door for Kidwell to move his way into the top 8. Easton being overtaken by Tim Green, who goes round the outside, and in front of them Veldhuis and Ruben are going side by side in the battle for third place. The final step on the podium, but there's still 24 laps left in this race to decide where these drivers will finish. Veldhuis holds on to that position 4 now, but Ruben, having led in towards the first corner, now could be down out of the top 5. Tim Green moves up into 4th place, and Ruben is starting on the slower hard compound tyres. Behind them, the 2 BCR drivers trying to work their way past Piero. Kidwell on the inside in towards the long swooping right-hander. The banked corner, it's a driver's favourite, I think, around this very unique circuit. In front, Easton's defensive into the hairpin. Marriott trying to go right round the outside in the BMW M6, makes a bit of contact with the Jaguar F-Type, but it's the Brit in 6th that holds on to the position for now. The 2 BCR drivers, Linus Stern, is, I think Kidwell was looking for a move on his teammate, but just decides to work with him for now as they approach sector 3, the downhill chicane, heavy braking zone in towards second, maybe first gear, depending on the car, and then you swing it in for the final left-handed. Careful not to hit the pit wall on the right-hand side, but everyone survives the opening lap. The pack still very close together as Matty leads the field through turn 1. He started on pole position. He lost the lead at the start, but quickly took the position back. Behind them, Easton battling with Marriott as the Brits swap position, which was the Jag that beat the M6 last time out in Blue Moon. Sorry, that was correct. It was Easton that finished in second, ahead of myself in third. Ruben just missed out on a podium in that one, but he finds himself the front runner on that slower hard compound tyre. He does have a couple of drivers behind him who have opted to start on the mediums. Piero and Marriott are 2 of them, but a lot of drivers opting for the white striped hard tyre at the start of this race. Remember, they have to use all 3 during the course of this 26 lap race, but they can decide to use them in any order they like. No one opting to start on the soft compound tyre. It's a very short pit lane here at Alsace. It's about 10 to 12 seconds for a tyre change, and all these drivers need to refuel at some point. And so with a shorter pit lane, we might see more of a 3-stop strategy preferred, like we saw at Blue Moon last time out. The 3-stop was the race-winning strategy, but we saw all types of strategies there. Ruben defensive into the hairpin behind them. Piero looking to go down the inside of Easton. He's gotten ahead of Kidwell, now up into 8th place. The Mercedes off into the grass and round up through the uphill left-hander. The Mercedes facing the wrong way and with damage to the front bumper. It's a disaster for James Kidwell, an unfortunate mistake, one that's so easy to do. And we've got Veldhuis actually starting on that soft tyre, into the pits after only 3 laps. Tyre wear is extremely high at this front heavy circuit. It's twisty, it's technical, it will wear out the front tyres, and Veldhuis, last week's race winner, is down in 12th place, has made a pit stop though, and already at the back of the pack. That is how short a pit stop is here at Alsace, and he's got some overtaking to do if he's to work his way back through the field. Of course, going into this race, he is the championship leader after falling short last season to Tyler Davison, who is yet to make an appearance after the first 2 rounds. Ruben, though, defensive into turn 3. No, that's not turn 3, that's turn 5. The driver in 5th place might be trying to demote him into that position. Ruben in 4th on lap 4. Can he stay in that position by the time they get to lap 5? Marriott's going to try and work his way round the outside through the downhill left-hander. A beautiful move from the BMW M6, using the grip on those medium tyres to his advantage. He now has to work his way up through the field and pull away from Ruben whilst he has the tyre advantage. It was the mistake that he made last week in Blue Moon. He didn't make much use of those soft compound tyres. The lap times weren't what he should have been setting, and that came back to bite him later on in the race when he had to fit the hard compound tyres and all his rivals were on the softs. Meanwhile, towards the back of this train, being led by Kian, I think. No, actually, I'd put Easton at the front of this train on the hard compound tyres. The Porsche is on the mediums. Of course, these drivers have absolutely no idea what their rivals are starting on, as Veltois gets past his teammate into 11th place. Probably more of an orchestrated move. Both drivers on different strategies, as Astro hits the barrier on the outside. But the two Dutchmen's now going side by side up through turn 1, but with those fresh medium tyres. It's an easy move around the outside for Maurizio Veltois. And he's now back into the top 10. Of course, has made a pit stop, and you can see on the minimap how close he is to the front runners. A reminder, the front runners have started this race on the mediums. Veltois has already got that soft tyre out the way. Tyre wear is very high at this circuit. There aren't many straights to cool the tyres or the brakes. The longest straight is probably down in the final sector and the run down towards turn 16. Of course, the longest flat out part of the circuit is from turn 1 to turn 3. Turn 2 is more the kink in these cars, but one that is obviously considered much of a corner. And so on lap 5, it's Matty who leads from a car as the top 2. Tim Grin onto the podium. Missed last week's race in Blue Moon, but is back where he's finished so many times before. And we have Marriott running in 4th place, and trader positions for Piero and Ruben, the two Ducati Corsa drivers, with a solid result last time out as a team, scoring a total of 19 points from Blue Moon, both having a solid race. And once again running in a solid position, 5th and 6th. Of course, FGR have got 2 drivers on the podium, so if it were to finish as it stands, they will be the team scoring the most points from tonight's race. Maurizio Veltois, last week's race winner, of course, is looking to try and make moves. We've got yellow flags up in front. Someone has dropped it through turn 1, and I believe it's Matty. We can go back and have a look, and that's how he dropped it. He dipped a wheel, ran wide, nearly collected by the McLaren of Adib Khan. His teammate's going to fly past any second now. There goes Ate Timgren on the left-hand side of the screen. And the pole sitter losing two positions as a result of a mistake. We've already seen a couple of mistakes being made tonight. It's such a tricky circuit. Lots of elevation change, quite a few blind corners, and one that it's really easy to put the foot down a little bit too soon. You run a little bit wide and you run the risk of dropping the car. Adam Hands on those hard tyres that he started the race on now in 9th place, having to defend from Maurizio Veltois, the current championship leader, who's already pitted from the softs, now is running that medium tyre. So in theory, only has to stop one more time in this race. And he's got great traction on the exit of turn 5. Is he going to have the run in towards turn 7? The downhill left-hander, he has a look on the inside, but Hands has him covered. But look at the run that he's got now going back up the hill. It's the long swooping right-hander, the back corner of turn 8. Adam Hands has him covered, parking the Jag on the racing line, but will squeeze Veltois up to the barrier. There's a Porsche drifting his way through. I think he might have dropped it as we watch Veltois dive it down the inside of Adam Hands into the hairpin. It's a beautiful move from the Supra. Who was it that dropped it? It's Astro facing the wrong way in the barrier with a bit of damage to the Porsche 911, as the sponsor so clearly shows. Veltois making up moves car now leads this race from Ate in second. The drivers out the front of the field starting to spread out a little bit. Maybe we're seeing some tyre conservation around this high tyre dead circuit, or maybe some drivers have gone through a little bit too much of their rubber and are starting to feel the effects of the tyre wear. You can see the mini-map for those who are unfamiliar with this fictional tarmac circuit. It presents itself more as a rallycross circuit with all these long swooping corners, which I guess makes it a unique track on this calendar. There aren't many straights, but lots of medium and high speed corners, a track that would favour quite a lot of these cars for several different reasons. You've of course got the Lamborghini that I think is the favourite at this circuit. It is currently running in third place. Cars like the McLaren, the Porsche, the M6 I think would also do fairly well here if the tyre wear was reduced, but these drivers do have to use 3 different tyres, and so there will be plenty of pit stops made in this race. Matty's sliding his way through, but keeps the car in a straight line. That would have lost him time to his teammate out in front that kicks a little bit of grass onto the racing line. And another change of positions for the two Ducati cars. This time it's Ruben ahead of Piero. It's deja vu down at the same corner they first swapped a couple of laps ago, but this time it's the medium runner that has to pay the price. The hard steel in very good condition after 7 laps of racing. I think we might see the first pit stops in this race in the next couple of laps. Matty is in. Marriott stays out. I think we'll see Piero dive into the pits as well. Indeed we do. And so we'll have to see where they filter out back onto the racetrack, because we've got Easton in 5th, Veldhuis in 6th, who's already made a pit stop onto the mediums, setting some competitive lap times, 54.2 on the last lap. There's no question about it. He's gaining on the Jag in front, 55.4 on the hards for Easton, who of course won in Saint-Croix in season 4. His only race win to date, has picked up a podium last week in Blue Moon. The more and more we race in this championship, the more and more drivers are collecting podiums. It's good. It's great to see how close and competitive this championship is set out to be. And we have so many different manufacturers on the grid as well. Easton though in the Jag, the first time we've seen that car on an FVR grid, having to defend from the well-known Toyota Supra. Adam Hans beautifully defended against Veldhuis into the back corner. This time Easton just opens the door slightly for Veldhuis on the inside, but not enough room for him to fit a Supra through. And look at this, the pole sitter Matty, who's pitted from the mediums onto another set of mediums, has caught up to these two who are going side by side in towards the hairpin. The right-hander at turn 10. Easton keeps 5th place for now. Matty swoops through on the outside and capitalises on Veldhuis trying to get past the Jag. The Lamborghini flies through instead. As Ate dives into the pit, these three dive into the penultimate corner, the downhill chicane almost, led by Easton. Stays out of course on those hard compound tyres, but going up in towards turn 1. Ate's come out the pits in front of him. His teammate launches one to the inside, makes a bit of contact with the Jaguar, but gets up into 4th place. The pace of the F-Type though is enough to pull it alongside. Whoops. They're 3 wide, going down the run in towards turn 2. Easton on the inside will become the outside for turn 3. Matty swooping it round the outside of turn 2, but Easton has to drive to stay ahead. Veldhuis trying to gain a position, has lost the position as Easton has a snap on the exit of turn 3. Nothing to separate these 3 drivers as Easton defensive in towards turn 4. Matty trying to move himself up into 4th place, and indeed he does, around the outside. The Lamborghini now set free with some clear air in front of him on those fresh medium tyres. And look at this behind. It's approaching on the scene. Nathan Marriott, Adam Hans and Piero Dezern in the BMW and the Porsche and the Jag. Of course, these guys have stayed out for a little bit longer. The cars behind on their fresh tyres. How does Easton defend this one with two drivers on relatively fresh mediums? Marriott looking to go down the inside of Veltois as the Veltois tries to go round the outside of Easton. They're three wide on the exit of the hairpin. Easton in the middle of the two drivers that started on the front row of the grid last time out in Blue Moon. Marriott goes round the outside of Easton. Does he go down the inside of Veltois into the final couple of corners? It is going to be the outside for turn 16. We'll have the inside for turn 17, and the Brit gets ahead of the Dutchman on those fresh, soft compound tyres. It's soft for the Brit. It's soft for Adib Khan, who exits the pit lane behind Ate Timgren, who's undercut the race leader. The top two now swapping places in this race. How long will that advantage last? It's fresh mediums for Timgren. It's fresh softs for Khan. Ruben, of course, has stayed out on those worn hard compound tyres, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this race pans out. We've got so many different drivers on so many different strategies, and it has created this beautiful train of cars. Piero trying to go around the outside of Easton, who hasn't pitted yet from those hards of which he started the race on. It's a beautiful move for Piero and his home Grand Prix, looking to have a good result here. It didn't work out as he planned for his last home Grand Prix at Saint-Croix last season, committed to a two-stop, which didn't quite work as I think he would have planned. But this time out, he's shown he's got the pace to make moves in this race. He's now up into 7th place. Veltois started in 6th, finds himself in 6th, and has used 2 of the 3 mandatory tyres already. Of course, we've got drivers in front of him that have and haven't. Matty's gone for 2 sets of mediums. He's yet to use the hard or the soft, and so we'll have to make another 2 pit stops. And Ruben in the Citroen might be going for another 2-stop in this race. He tried it last week in Blue Moon, and you have to say, from where he started to where he finished, it works out nicely for him. The race leaders, though, are about to end lap 10 and start lap 11. It's the Audi of Ate ahead of the McLaren of Khan, as we are nearly approached the halfway stage of this 26-lap race. We've still got all 13 drivers running, and 2 of them are fighting for the lead of this race. Khan is on the softs, Ate on the mediums. There's about a 1-second tyre delta between the tyres at this circuit, but the soft degrade fast. You have to get the moves done, and you've got to get them done quickly to make the most of that red striped tyre. Of course, it's difficult to keep track as well what your rivals are doing, what tyres they've used, how much fuel they have in the car. Do they need to refuel? Do they, or can they, go to the end of the race? Of course, none of these drivers can go to the end of the race on fuel from the start, but in the first stint, they might have fueled to go to the end. We have, of course, seen different fueling strategies in the past, notably in Blue Moon. But Ate running a little bit wide through, I keep losing track, I think it's turn 7, through the banked corner of turn 8 and the kink left of turn 9. Look at the run from Khan. He's already alongside the Audi, and the McLaren now leads the French Grand Prix on lap 11 of 26. He's making the most of those soft compound tyres, and car number 47 leads car number 52 behind them. Whilst one FGR driver loses a place, the other is trying to gain another onto the podium for Matty as he tries to find his way past Ruben, who is yet to feature in the pit lane. He started on those hards, he's taken them 11 laps, and it looks like he's going to keep going, but Matty's going to swoop round the outside on those fresh medium tyres, and he gets the move done. 2 FGR drivers back into the top 3. Behind them, the 2 Jaguars, the 2 Team Spirit drivers started on the hards, and they are going long like they done in Blue Moon. you haven't already, it might be worth getting out a pen and paper to make a note of what the different strategies are in this race. I've certainly lost track, and I'm on the grid, currently in 5th place, started in 8th, looking to try and make some moves. But I think we might see the BMW M6 into the pits in the next lap or two as those softs begin to quickly fall off the cliff. And so our race leaders at a 53.9 on the last lap on the mediums. That's a very quick lap from him, even quicker on lap 10, 53.2. Adib Khan though setting the timing screens alight with a purple lap on lap 11, a 1:52.7, 9/10 off what Matty done in qualifying, but of course we have reduced tyre wear in qualifying to allow the drivers to do more than one flying lap with only 10 minutes in the session, and some tracks are quite long. This is one of the longest tracks on the calendar for this season, so they don't get many laps in qualifying. It's another fastest lap of the race, goes even quicker, 52.6. I was nearly about to say that these soft compound tyres are only really good for one lap, as the Pink Mechanics serviced the BCR car for the second time in this race. He's used the mediums, he's used the softs, it's no fuel in the back of the M6, and goes on to the hards ahead with Adam Hans, who is yet to make a pit stop. And that just goes to show not only how short the pit stop is, but how difficult it is to work out the strategy. Adam is yet to make a pit stop, and he's in 7th place. Marriott has made 2, and he's ahead in 6th. Welcome to Ate in the chat, who's he's that quick, he's able to text while setting incredibly quick lap times around the village of Alsace. He's currently in 2nd place. The Season 2 champion, which I mistakenly said was the Season 4 champion, even though he featured once, I think, in Season 4. Whoops, I just closed down the standings and opened up Microsoft Teams. How someone makes that mistake, I don't know. And in the process of doing so, I was going to say something and I forgot. Anyway, this battle for 9th place between Kidwell Hill and Veldhuis. The BCR Mercedes has started on the mediums, not pitted from the, started on the hards, hasn't pitted from the hards. Made an early mistake, lap number 2 or 3, I think it was. He dropped it through turn 10, 11, no, 12. Turn 12. Dropped to the back and now finds himself in 9th place. The Cabbage Crew drivers swap positions. Veldhuis on the new hards, gets past Hill on the slightly worn hards. Veldhuis looking for a move on Kidwell down the hill in towards the penultimate corner. The Mercedes defends to the inside in towards turn 16, in towards the left-hander of turn 17. Maybe that right kink actually is the final corner, I'm not too sure. Either way, Kidwell navigates his way into the pit lane between the two Cabbage Crew drivers. Hands in as well, in and out I should say, whilst oh dear, one Brit comes into the pits, the other comes out behind, and with a 3-second time penalty for going over the pit entry line. I believe he got that for entry rather than exit. But our top two separated by a couple of seconds, and I think we might see our race leader diving into the pits at the end of this or the next lap. The softs can only really last 3 or 4 laps at this circuit. In the background there you can see the Alsace test course that was added to this game. Rather than turning left up here, you continue straight on up to that beautiful hill, which we might see in a future season. We'll have to wait and see. But over the halfway stage here in the French Grand Prix, Khan leads Tim Grin in towards the final 2 corners. He's a bit deep in towards turn 15. Oh, is he going to come into the pits? I think he will. He pulls over to the right-hand side, and yes, he is into the pits. Tim Grin is free with a clean air in front of him to set some timing sheets alight. He's gone double medium, I think, at the start of this race. Let's see what Khan goes on to. It's going to be... It's another set of the... No, it's the hard compound tyres. And so has fulfilled the mandatory 3-stop tyre regulations. And comes out in some clean air. Ahead of Ruben, who's on a soft compound tyre. We haven't really talked much about Ruben being one of the front runners in this race. Of course, led into turn 1 starting on the front row of the grid. But he went so long on those hard compound tyres that drivers in front of him had pitted more than once. Khan doesn't have to pit again, but Ruben's right behind him on the softs. And he could be behind no longer because he's alongside Khan, now ahead, down and towards turn 7, a little bit sideways, but gets the move done. Ruben now moves his way up into a podium position. Now the crucial part of his race, if he can keep it clean, keep it quick, on these softs, he's going to pit for a medium tyre to end this race. It's only a 10-second pit stop. If he can gain 4 or 5 seconds on this stint on these softs over Khan, he will gain time back on the mediums later. Could be a late challenger for a podium. Behind them, there's a battle for the place inside the top 5. It's Mario on the hards, Piero on the softs. The 2 former Squadra Italia teammates have gone their separate ways as of season 4. The BMW and the Porsche now battling for 5th place. A little bit deep from Mario, opens the door for Piero to go round the outside. Yeah, neck and neck over the start-finish line. The Porsche now trying to go round the outside, but the M6 will keep it in on the inside. The grip, though, on the red striped soft compound tyres allows the red Porsche to excel up into 5th place. Piero now has a clear track in front of him to try and close that gap to the top 4. We know he's got the pace, he's picked up a few podiums in the past, and at his home Grand Prix he's looking to score some good points for the team that look to try and win their first Constructors' Championship for both of these 2 drivers. Actually, we've only got one driver that has won the Constructors twice. 2 drivers, sorry, the same team, Spider GT, Ate Tim Grin, and of course Sylvester Gobardi, Season 3 and Season 2. And no, that's a lie, Ate's a 3-time Constructors winner. He won it in Season 1, of course, with Rick Alders alongside him. I remember Ate was driving the Corvette that season. And his teammates in the Mercedes. Time he's opted for German manufacturing in the Audi, having fallen short in the Porsche in Season 3. It is the R8 that now leads lap 17, or the end of 16 I should say, on to 17, and he's so quick, this Finnish driver, that he's gone from lap 14 to lap 17 in the space of 1 lap, according to the timing screens. Is that the secret to outright victory? But whilst he has clear track in front and behind him, it's Feel Good Racing 1-2 in this race. Ruben has begun to gap Adam Khan in this race, and that's what I was saying a lap or 2 ago. If he can gap Khan on those softs when he pits for the final time in this race, he could put himself in a great position to fight for that top 3 spot. Piero has a little bit more work to do. He has to pit at least once in this race. He's gone from the mediums to the softs, I believe. No, actually, I think Pierro's done double soft, so I think he's going to end on a hard. Marriott's gone medium, soft, hard, but nowhere near enough fuel to take that M6 to the end of the race. They might finish on a medium tyre. I think the mediums are the preferred tyre at this circuit. They last long enough to get enough lap time out of them, and they're quick enough to stay ahead of the hard runners. Veldhuis is on a fresh set of hards, so he could be going to the end of the race. Has got just less than half a tank of fuel compared to Adam Hans behind him. So it's been a tough day for the Jags and the Toyotas, running in 8th, 9th and 10th. Alsace is a track that wouldn't really favour those two cars in particular. Of course, this calendar is comprised of a mix of technical and power circuits to give each car a chance. Ate pits from the lead and exits in the lead. His teammate followed him in, and both actually, one goes to the soft, one goes to the hards. Matty's come out in clear air in front, but he's got his rear view mirrors full of a McLaren and a Porsche. Here comes Carl in towards turn 2. Matty in the middle. Piero on the outside. We'll have the inside for turn 2. For turn 3, is it going to be a double overtake for the Frenchman at his home Grand Prix? Piero moves up into a podium position behind. Carl will try and go right round the outside of Matty, but Matty will hold on those fresh hard tyres. Khan also on the hards, possibly going to the end. We'll have to wait and see. Matty, I don't think, is going to the end. He's got far less fuel. He's only got 25% of a tank in that car. Piero will have to pit at the end of this lap. No way those softs last another lap. Piero on his home Grand Prix has also set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:51.9. We're nearly quicker than what we were doing in qualifying. Matty trying to go around the outside and spoil the home dreams. He's going to send it down the inside. Piero runs a little bit wide, might allow Khan to follow him through. Piero though tucks in behind the Lamborghini Huracan. The McLaren 650S will swoop around the outside. Piero will try his best to hold it on the inside, but has a puncture to the front left. Ruben comes in off the softs. Piero follows his teammate in off the soft compound tyres from second and third. Where will Ruben exit the pit? The worn softs go off, the fresh mediums go on. Fuel going into the back of the Citroen. The front runners making their way through turn 1. Easton approaching the first corner as well. You can see the Jag making his way through. The Citroen is released onto the mediums to go to the end. Veldhuis now promoted to 6th place. Piero behind Marriott, and both on the, actually Piero's on the hards, Marriott on the mediums. Adam Hans alongside the Porsche on a worn set of mediums. I'm not sure they're going to go to the end on that Jag. It's a car that suffers with front heavy tyre wear. We're on board. He's got a mirror full of Porsche, a windscreen full of BMW. Adam had a great race in Blue Moon. Finished just 2 places off the podium in 5th place. Having started towards the back of that race. This week he started outside the top 8, down in 9th place, just over a second off pole position. But going into this race, I think we expected some of these drivers not to perform as great as they did at Blue Moon, for the gaps, for the deltas to be slightly wider than they usually are. It is a technical circuit to Alsace, the one that wears the front tyres. Piero trying to go down the inside, makes a little bit of contact with the Jag, but does get the move done, and up into 8th place. Meanwhile, they battled it out in Blue Moon. Marriott's going to attack at Alsace. Veltweiss is on a worn set of hard compound tyres. Marriott's coming on a fresh set of mediums. He's going down the inside in towards the penultimate corner. The BMW unsettled on the inside curb, but unnerved in the braking zone. He's up into 6th place. Veltweiss demoted to 7th, having started in 6th. Last week's race winner outside the top 6. Meanwhile, up in front, Easton, who finished on the podium last time out in Blue Moon, is just 1 spot off. But I don't think those mediums will be going to the end. He's going to be into the pits one more time in this race. Ruben, however, is on course to go to the end. He started in 2nd, he's now in 5th. Maybe, just maybe, he can find himself on the podium for what will be the first time in his FVR career, maybe. He's going round the outside of Easton and he gets the move done. Ruben started on the front row of the grid, running outside the top 3 and is yet to stand on that podium in FVR. Could this be his time to shine? The drivers in front of him are either on worn hard tyres or they need to make another stop. Alsace on the soft tyres, he's not going to the end. Matty's on the hards, the tyres could go to the end but the fuel won't. So both FGR drivers will be going into the pits. Khan could be going to the end. Question is though, what's his gap to Alsace? We'll use the timer in the middle of the screen to work it out. Whoops. 14 to 28. So there's about 14 seconds between Khan and Timgren. One needs to pit, the other is going to the end. It's about 10 to 12 seconds for a pit stop. We could have a showdown on our hands to the line. It wasn't a particularly good lap for Timgren on the last one. 54.0 compared to a 51.1. Nearly 3 seconds a lap slower. Now, was that a mistake or was that just the harsh wear on the soft tyres? He's 1.2 seconds off his personal best through sector 2 on this lap, which makes me believe that it was a mistake on lap 20, and this could give the drivers behind an opportunity to snatch 22 points from this race. They won't get the full 23 unless they can beat Alsace's current fastest lap, a 1:51.1, and on low fuel goes 7 tenths quicker than his teammate done in qualifying, which put him on pole position. And he's into the pits. He's in off of the softs. So the FGR mechanics will be working away to change those tyres as quickly as they can. The fuel goes into the back of the Audi as Matty follows him in. But where's Khan going to feature? Timgren is ahead. He's ahead on the hards with 4 laps to go. The top 2 are going to be on the hards. Khan's got slightly more worn hard tyres than the race leader. But Ruben will be attacking them both on his medium tyres towards the end. Khan exits the pit lane on the softs and to deal with the mandatory 3 tyre regulations. I believe everyone has completed the mandatory 3 tyres. Matty's on the softs, he's got Marriott on the hards, on the mediums, sorry, behind him in the M6. Pierre on the hards, it's unlikely he will catch the M6. Veltweiss also on hards, Easton on the softs, and so we should expect to see that Jag flying in the final 5 laps of this race. Kidwell is yet to make his final stop. He's gone from the hards onto the mediums, hasn't done the softs. Hans behind him is opted for the soft tyres at the end of this stint. Hill on the mediums, Kean on the softs. And we've got Tim in 13th, also on the soft compound tyres. And so we've got all three dry compound tyres on display at the end of the race. And the theory has kind of worked as it should have. We have the slower tyre compounds at the front of the field, followed by a medium in the middle, and then a soft behind, chasing them down. Are there enough laps though to make that work? We will have to wait and see. Lap 23 of 26 as a Tim Green leads, going through the first corner on those fresh hard tyres. No dramas for him, and he's on course to claim the maximum 23 points. Not quite a Grand Slam. I think a Grand Slam this season will be extremely rare. Not only is it hard enough, and we've only seen a couple of drivers do it in the past, but to make a Grand Slam work, you've really got to have the pace over the three stoppers, unless it's going to be a two-stop race. This race, it's hard to tell. We've got a three-stop leading, a two-stop in second, two-stop in third, and a three-stop in fourth. So once again, two of the top four are on a three-stop, the other two are on a two-stop. Maybe it's acting as a bit of a headache to some of these drivers that now have to think a little bit more about how their strategy will be working over these 50-minute races. Is the pit lane short enough to make a three-stop work? Is the tyre wear high enough to make a three-stop work? Can you extend by a couple of laps to go for a two-stop and come out ahead of your rivals? Track position, of course, is more important at certain tracks than others. Here, it's difficult to overtake, but with a tyre offset, you can make a move work, especially through the nature of this twisty technical circuit. 3 laps to go at the French Grand Prix. Tim Green leads into turn 1, ahead of Khan in second place. Oh, but the Audis lose through turn 1, and he's in the barrier. He's got damage to the suspension, and Khan goes through into the lead of the race. A rare mistake from the Finn, who's got damage after dropping in at turn 1. Adib Khan can't believe what he's just seen. He now leads the French Grand Prix with 3 laps to go. But it is not over yet. Of course, Khan, remember, he's on the 2-stop. His tyres are worn. They're a lot more worn. He pitted at the end of lap 14. Tim Green pitted at the end of lap 22. And so, with the tyre offset I was talking about just a few laps ago, can he use that to his advantage to retake the lead of this race and hunting them down every step of the way? Ruben in third, he's not finished on the podium. He's in a good position to do so this week. Matty as well in fourth place will be trying to take that podium off Ruben, but it's a disaster for FGR. Both of their drivers are in the barrier on lap 24. He's dropped it on the exit of turn 8, running wide onto the grass. Marriott flies through up into fourth place. He can't believe what he's seeing, and now Piero will have a go to try and finish inside the top 5 on his home Grand Prix. But Matty on the soft, he's got a bit of damage which will repair after 30 seconds. Can Piero pounce on attack whilst he has this perfect opportunity? The softs will wear fast, but will the hards have enough grip, enough speed to fire Piero into the top 5? We're on to the penultimate lap of the race. It's Khan that leads Tim Green, but he has a wobble of himself through turn 3. The last time I commentated on the race at Alsace, it seemed every driver that took the lead of the race managed to get themselves into an incident. Are we seeing a similar fate repeating itself tonight? Everyone else in the midfield seems to be fairly spaced. Tim starts the penultimate lap of the race, hunting down Kian, who's got slightly better wear on those soft tyres. Cameron Hill trying to work his way into the top 10. He's got James Kidwell a couple of seconds in front of him. Adam Hans in a race by himself, as is last week's race winner, who he won it comfortably in the end. This time out struggling for pace at Alsace. Easton as well, 2 drivers that finished on the podium last week, not featuring in the top 5. Piero still has his hopes on the top 5 finish at his home Grand Prix. He's got Matty in front of him, but at the front of the field, rounding the final corners to start the final lap of the race. It's go, go, go for Adib Khan, who tries to defend from Mate Timgren down and towards turn 1. Khan on a 2-stop, Timgren on a 3-stop. The Finn has the fresher, harsh compound tyres. Khan has the track position. The McLaren positioning himself on the outside for turn 2, but the inside crucially for turn 3. Timgren will swoop through on the inside, but Khan has the inside for turn 3. They make a bit of contact at the apex of the corner. Timgren forced wide, nearly onto the curb. The Finn has made so many last lap moves before. Can he do one more to see him step one extra place on the podium, the place that everyone wants to stand on? And if they battle too hard, we could have a Spanish driver claim Spain's first victory in FVR GT. But for now, it's between the McLaren and the Audi. Tim on the inside now has the outside, drifting his way around the outside, sends it foot to the floor in France, and he smashes that move up into the lead of the race on the final lap of the race. It's the second week in a row that we've seen a change of position for the podium position on the final lap. This time round it's a move from Timgren on Khan, and could that be the move that wins him here at Alsace? He's only got a couple more corners to go. He goes down the crest through the Gran Turismo banner and through the final corner for the final time. He may have started down and fourth, but never doubt the flying Finn. He rounds the final corner and wins here at Alsace Village for the French Grand Prix, his first win of the season, and it's the fastest lap to go with it. A maximum 23 points for the Season 2 champion, looking to kickstart his season like he ended Season 3. It's a podium position for Adib Khan in second, Ruben with his first FVR GT podium in third, Marriott from 8th to 4th, Piero up into 5th, a great race from him on home soil. It's Matty with not a great race from pole down in 6th place, but points nevertheless for the FGR team after both drivers missed the season opener. It's Shea Easton in 7th place, the current championship leader Maurizio Veltruis. We've not said much about him tonight. He's down in 8th place. Adam Hans in 9th. Kidwell holds on to the final points paying position in 10th place ahead of Cameron Hill in 11th. Keane Milord will finish this race with a front left puncture in 12th place, and Tim as well. Likewise, both Porsches finishing with a puncture in 13th place. But that is all the action that Alsace had to offer. Plenty on display, and once again, the 3-stop versus the 2-stop. It was the 3-stop that came out victorious once again. But a rare mistake from the Finnish driver that nearly put his win in jeopardy. we're going to blur the background to give full attention to the race-winning car. Add a little bit of a background to this. And that is your race winner from round 2 at Alsace. Congrats to Ate, who wins his 13th race, the 13th win of the season, of his career, I think. And with it, his 300 laps led. That overtake on the final lap means he exceeds 300 laps led in FVR GT. And the first driver to reach that milestone. Congrats to him. But a dive into the Drivers' Championship then. After Alsace, we have 3 drivers that are tied on points going in towards the first doubleheader at Dragon Trail Seaside. It's Maurizio Veltois, Nathan Marriott and Ruben in the top 3, level on 26 points. Only 4 points separating the top 5, with Ate and Shea Easton rounding out the top 5. Adib Khan, as well, and only 6 points off the top. It's very close after 2 races, let's put it that way. But the next race, of course, it's the first of the double headers that are new for Season 5. We head from France to Croatia for Dragon Trail Seaside, where we will have not 1 but 2 races, a 5-minute qualifying and a 25-minute race. 2 25-minute races at the forward version of Dragon Trail Seaside, followed by the reverse of Dragon Trail Seaside, a track that often causes carnage, and I am looking forward to it. I was Nathan, your commentator for this race, and maybe I might be able to do next week's race as well. Tune in for whenever it gets streamed. It may even be tomorrow if I have the time. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.